Good evening. I call to order this special meeting of the Gladstone City Council on Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. It's 5:30 p.m. Let's see. Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Councillor Huckabee.
Present.
Councillor Mitchell.
Present.
Councillor Blau.
Present.
Councillor Labonte.
Present.
Councillor Corbett.
Present.
Councillor Garlington.
Present.
Mayor Milch.
Present. Let the record show that Councillor Huckabee and Councillor Labonte are both joining us via Zoom. So we have everyone on the council attending the meeting tonight. The City of Gladstone is abiding by guidelines set forth in House Bill 2560, which requires the governing body of the public body, to the extent reasonably possible, to make all meetings accessible remotely through technological means and provide opportunity for members of the general public to remotely submit oral and written testimony during meetings to the extent in-person oral and written testimony is allowed. Therefore, this meeting will be open to the public both in person and virtually using the Zoom platform. People who wanted to comment on, the Zoom instructions are part of the agenda, and people that wanted to attend the special meeting and comment on agenda items were to have emailed their comments or their request to speak to the city recorder prior to noon today. I understand we did not have any requests. Individuals attending in person, which we have none so far, may submit a speaker card to the city recorder prior to the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. So our agenda is 3 budget-related items. No, it may be more than that. Yeah, I think it's 5 budget-related items. A public hearing regarding a resolution to declare the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. Another resolution to certify the provision of 4 or more services to qualify for state shared revenues for the fiscal year 25 to 27. The public hearing, Resolution 1245, adopting the City of Gladstone biennium budget, setting the tax rate and categorizing the taxes. And then we switch to Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency and we approve our March 11th meeting minutes. And we have a public hearing regarding Resolution UR-73, which is adoption of the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency 2025-2027 biennium budget. And then we will adjourn. So I'll turn it over to staff for item number 1 regarding our election to receive state revenue sharing.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. And as you know, the city held a budget committee meeting on May 19th. And so I'm going to hand this over to our finance consultant, Kathy Brucker, to walk you through each of the agenda items.
Thank you, Jackie. The items that we have to review today will complete the budget process for the 25-27 biennium budget. We will be official. It will be adopted in time by June 30th as state law requires. So to get started with it, on Resolution 1243, declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. This resolution will allow us to receive the money from the state. It is general funds of the state, and that's where we carry it within our budget also. The election satisfied by the public hearing that was held that Administrator Betts referenced there, and that is the budget committee meeting on May 19th, and then the second hearing that we are doing tonight. The public has the opportunity to comment on the use of the state revenue sharing funds if they so choose. And we expect to receive approximately $250,900 in the 25-27 biennium of these funds. So our proposal to you is to adopt Resolution 1243 in order for the city to be able to share and receive in the state revenue. Options, you could not adopt the resolution, but needless to say, I'm sure you wouldn't consider that. And with the cost impact, we will receive a net of about $250,900 of revenue for the general use. Recommended staff action is listed there at the bottom as far as a move to approve this resolution 1243.
All right, I'll officially open the public hearing on this matter. Tammy, is there anyone who's come online watching us who's indicated an interest in commenting on this?
We do not have any.
All right. Well, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing on this matter and would welcome someone to make a motion. I have the motions printed here in case anyone here would like to do that.
I will move to
Okay.
approve resolution 1243 for the city of Gladstone to continue to receive state revenue sharing in the 2025-2027 biennium budget.
All right. Councilor Huckabee has moved.
Seconded.
Councilor Mitchell has seconded the motion. Any further discussion?
I'm Counselor Garland.
Oh, sorry, Councilor Garland. I
just-
apologize.
Yeah.
I think I saw her name on the screen and that's what went in my head.
That's okay.
Okay, Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, so the resolution 1243 is adopted. We move to item number 2.
So going forward with resolution number 1244, the certification of provision of 4 or more services to qualify for the state shared revenues for the 25-27 biennium. This must be passed in order for us to be allowed to receive these revenues. These are all based on a formula with the state based on our population numbers. If you looked, our population this year went down just slightly, so it is less than what was anticipated to receive in the previous years. This is for the liquor tax, cigarette tax, and the highway user tax. We anticipate receiving the following revenue amounts of a total of $2,338,994 that comes into the general fund and the street and roads fund. So with this, if we do not adopt the resolution, we will not receive the funding. There is a list of the types of the types of services that we must provide on the next page. And it shows that we easily provide more than 4 of these services, such as police, street construction, sewers, storm sewers, planning, zoning, and utility services. So with that, we request that you approve resolution 1244 for the city of Gladstone to continue to provide 4 more municipal services.
All right, we already are providing those. If we certify them, we get some money. So it's one of those things that former Councilor Alexander would refer to as a no-brainer, but it still requires a motion and a vote. So would someone like to make the motion?
I will make the motion. I move to approve Resolution 1244 for the City of Gladstone to continue to provide 4 or more municipal services listed in Section 1 ORS 221.760.
Councilor Blau has made a motion. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Councilor Corbett has seconded the motion and Councilor Mitchell has seconded the motion. I think it was your voice I heard, Councilor Mitchell. All right. The motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, let's do a roll call.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, resolution 1244 has passed unanimously. We move to item number 3.
So this is the big one for the city here, as far as resolution 1245, adopt the 25-27 city biennium budget, set the tax rate and categorize the taxes in the amount of $75,027,420. State law requires the city council adopt a budget prior to the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. Beginning July 1, 2025, we will be working once again from a biennial budget. The Budget Committee recommended the attached approved budget and tax rate The overall budget, including all funds, was for a slightly lesser amount of $75,018,580. And the reason for that is that subsequently then, within the general fund, an increase of $8,840 has been recognized between the Marine Grant revenue and the Parks Department. And then the second aspect of it was a transfer of $147,000 to release restricted funds that have been raised and held in contingency to administration for the city's match on the phase 2 of the Trolley Trail Bridge replacement project. This was all found out after we had already recommended the proposed budget and had been approved by the budget committee. So that is why it's not included in the approved. That has to be for the same amount the proposed was done, but is being brought forward in the adopted budget. So this is, as I say, it was due to new information that was received basically in that interim period. So we request that you adopt Resolution 1245 in order to keep the city in compliance with the generally accepted accounting principles known as GAAP and the Governmental Accounting Standards Board known as GASB rules and Oregon revised statutes. This resolution is prepared in order to comply with all three aspects of that. If you look on the resolution itself, you will see that it does state the higher amount of $75,027,420. There is reference in there as to the reason for the adjustment up. And then it details out how we make the appropriations. And as you've heard me talk over the years, the appropriations are so vital to get adopted in the right format for the right amounts as close as possible at this time. So we have the general, the ARPA funds, the balance of that, road and street, police and communication levy, fire emergency levy, sewer, water, storm, and the municipal court fund. The second part of this resolution is not only adopting the budget, but then also to imposing the tax. And this imposes the property tax that we want to collect over the next 2 years at our base rate of 4.8174 per thousand. It is based on a formula coming through between the county and then what we historically receive statutorily of a 3% increase, plus any growth factor that we may bring into play also. And this also then adopts the 68 cents per thousand for the police and communications levy and the 31 cents per thousand for the fire and emergency medical local option tax also. The third part of it is categorizing the tax and stating that it is an imposed tax, again, more or less repeating the same thing: general fund, police communications, and the fire and emergency medical fund. You may remember as when you approved this with the budget committee, we had to make these separate motions. Again, we have to make these in 3 different motions also for the actual adoption. So all of the script has been listed for this rather lengthy one here on the back or at the bottom, the motions. Yes, right here. I'm sorry. At the bottom of the resolution itself, imposing the tax, categorizing the tax, and then the total appropriations, which is the first one.
All right, that was a lot of information.
Yes.
Let me just state a couple of things for the record. Councilor Corbett had been appointed to the city council, but not yet sworn in at the time we had our budget committee. But my recollection is you did attend the budget committee, so she's familiar with it. We are choosing to adopt a slightly different budget than what was approved at the budget committee meeting, but we've had a good explanation of the reason for that, and that is fine for us to do. We can always make a change like this.
Mhm.
And To approve this requires three separate motions to approve this particular resolution. Are there any questions from members of the council about any of the matter that's been presented to us so far? And just to clarify anything and with the numbers that you're uncomfortable with or that you need more clarification on?
I do.
Councilor Garlington, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm reading this right. On the American Rescue Plan Act Fund, we are moving that permanently into the general fund to be used that way, not to be discussed again how we're going to use it. Am I correct?
You are correct
Okay.
with that. Yes, it is the final amount available in there as a revenue recovery towards the general fund.
Okay, and I'm good with that. I just wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that we were very clear on it. And then the $147,000. Explain that to me again. We're bringing it in to pay it back out, or we're bringing it in because we weren't going to use it for what we were going to use it for in the first place.
No, it is, if I just add one thing first, it is part of contingency. It was part of contingency in the proposed and approved budget. We're simply moving it from contingency into the operating budget to be able to utilize it for that grant.
That's okay. I just
Yes.
wanted to,
Mhm.
okay. I'm good.
Okay, so that's one of those things where we keep a pretty healthy amount in contingency for the things that are unknown at the time we do it. But now that we know that that money is going to be needed for this match,
Yes.
we can allocate it specifically to that purpose.
And one other aspect also too of that money was all raised through the business license charge, levied within the city. And so it was monies that as it's raised, it's reserved at the end of every fiscal year to keep it available for exactly this purpose.
Okay, so as both an income, a revenue source, and as an expected expenditure from the budget,
Mhm.
it's been categorized in both those ways clearly.
Originally came in through revenue.
Yes.
But it's accumulated. And if you look back at the audit reports, the annual audit reports, there you would see the restricted funds in fund balance. This is one of them.
Okay,
So it's waiting for that need.
thank you.
Yes.
All right. Councilor Labonte, you have a question as well.
Hi, yes, please, and thank you, Kathy. I'm just wondering, how is this being my first run with the city budget? How often do we have to make this type of change? Is this kind of a one-off, or is this a common thing to do beyond the budget committee to make this decision?
I would say we haven't done it in the last couple of budget cycles, and that's the reason why we're doing it tonight, is because phase 2 of the Trolley Trail Bridge project has begun with the design and environmental. The city's match of that is 11%. We likely will not spend all 147,000 in the next 2 years, but we want to be able to, so we don't have to come back and do an adjustment at a later time. But it's very rarely that we've had to do this.
Great, thank you. Just want to get some insight on that.
Good. That's helpful clarification. Not all of us have been around for that many budgets, so we want to know. And what we don't want to do is have to come back later and make the adjustment during the year. It's nice to get it all at what we start with.
Mhm.
So we have 3 motions required. We'll take them one at a time, and I'm happy to hear from any counselor who would like to look at page 3.2 and make a motion. Okay, Counselor Corbett.
Okay. Adopting the budget, I move to adopt Resolution 1245, adopting the 2025 to 2027 biennium budget in the sum of $75,027,420.
All right, and then we'll hold off on that one. Is there a second?
Second that.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Corbett and seconded by Counselor Blaug, and we will vote on this.
Mayor, I believe Counselor Garlington seconded that
Oh.
one.
All right. I looked at you and heard your voice, Counselor Garlington. We'll give you credit for the second on the vote, on the motion. All right, it's been moved and seconded by Counselors Corbett and Garlington respectively. And is there any further discussion? All
Can I
right,
just add that,
yes.
thank you for the clarification, the work, the budget. It feels good.
Good.
So I appreciate all the work there.
Absolutely.
Tammy, can you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So the portion of the resolution adopting the budget has been approved unanimously. We move now to the portion imposing the tax.
I move to adopt Resolution 1245 for both tax years 2025 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027, imposing the taxes at a rate of 4.8174 per $1,000 of assessed value of the permanent tax rate, and at the rate of 68 cents per $1,000 for the police and communications local option tax, and 31 cents per $1,000 for the fire and emergency medical local option tax.
I'll second.
All right. I think Councillor Garlington beat you to it again, but we have a motion by Councillor Corbett and second by Councillor Garlington. Just for clarification, since this came up at the school board budget approval a week or so ago, the permanent tax rate, 4.8174. If you look at your tax bill and look at what's been assessed or what you've been charged for city taxes divided by your assessed rate, it'll come in a little bit less than that. And that is because of urban renewal. Part of that money that is taxed by the city gets sort of chipped away and put in the urban renewal. And that's why you can't get to that exact figure there. The two levy rates should be exact in terms of proportion of your assessed value on your property tax bill. But the recent bond by the school board had people studying their tax bills a lot more closely than they used to, and we're much more informed on that. And I just wanted to make that clear why this 4.8174 figure will not match up with what you calculate on your printed tax statement. All right, the motion has been made and seconded. We are ready for a vote.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So the portion of the resolution imposing the taxes has been adopted unanimously. It seemed to do a pretty good job of categorizing them, yet there is another motion required which officially categorizes the tax. So I will recognize one more motion from the council.
I move to adopt Resolution 1245 for both tax years 2025 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027, categorizing the imposed taxes as follows. General Fund, $4.8174 per $1,000, excluded from limitation is $0. Police Communications Fund, 68 cents per $1,000, excluded from limitation, $0. Fire and Emergency Medical Fund, 31 cents per $1,000, excluded from limitation, $0.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Councillor Corbett and seconded by Councillor Garlington. Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a vote on this.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. So this completes the third required motion. Therefore, the entire resolution number 1245 is adopted. Is that correct? Okay. All right. Now, I will adjourn us as the Gladstone City Council and re-adjourn as the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency. Every time we as we open up as the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency, we generally have some agency minutes that we have to approve. That's the case again here. We have minutes from March 11th, 2025. So I need, is there a motion to approve the minutes of our March 11th, 2025 meeting? That regarded our audit of the Urban Renewal Agency budget.
I motion to approve the minutes.
All right, Counselor Mitchell has moved to approve the Urban Renewal Agency minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Counselor Blaug has seconded the motion. Any discussion? All right, Tammy, could you call the roll, please?
Counselor Garlington,
Here.
It's a yes or no.
Oh,
On
I'm
the-
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did re-adjourn. It's a
I'm
different thing,
here
but.
and I'm saying yes.
Oh, very good, thank you.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the March 11th minutes are approved. And now we move on to resolutions required for approving the Urban Renewal Agency budget. So I'll turn it back over to staff for an explanation.
Thank you. This is not quite so lengthy, at least. This resolution will adopt the 2025-2027 biennium urban renewal budget and declaration of the tax increment for the 25-27 tax years. State law, again, requires the Urban Renewal Board to adopt this budget prior to June 30th. And the Budget Committee has recommended the attached budget and tax rate, and there is no change to it whatsoever. The overall budget is $6,804,447. Tax increment remains unchanged. The Urban Renewal Agency is requesting the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution, and $0 is the amount to be raised through the imposition of a special levy. Obviously, there is no special levy on this. And when they talk about the tax increment as far as raised by dividing the taxes, it's basically taking all of our overlapping districts that are within our urban renewal agencies and then the proportionate share from each one of those. So for adoption of resolution UR 73, it will keep the Gladstone Urban Renewal District in compliance with local budget law. And again, it needs to be adopted prior to June 30th of 2025. So if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those. And other than that, we would recommend that you adopt resolution UR 73.
All right, this is urban renewal. It's always a little more complicated than the regular budget. And so I'll open it up to any questions that anyone needs for clarification of items or to make things clearer for the public who might be watching. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this? I'm looking. I see none. All right, this requires, again, two separate motions. And I will entertain the first motion to adopt the budget from anyone on the council who'd like to do it. Councillor Corbett.
I move to adopt resolution UR 73, adopting the 2025 to 2027 biennium budget in the sum of $6,804,447.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All right, it's been moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Mitchell. We will take a vote on this one separate from the second one. So Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. The motion is adopted 7-0. We move now to the motion to declare the tax increment.
I'll do it. I move to adopt UR 73, declaring the tax increment to remain unchanged for both tax years 2025-26 and 2026-27. The Urban Renewal Agency of the Gladstone Urban Renewal District hereby resolves to request the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution, and $0 as the amount to be raised through the imposition of a special levy.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved this time by Counselor Garlington and seconded by Counselor Corbett. Any discussion? All right, we will take a vote on that.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. The motion is passed unanimously. That means that resolution UR 73 is adopted. And that concludes the business we have tonight. But as Councilor Garlington alluded to earlier, there are a lot of thanks and appreciation due to Kathy Brucker, our current finance director, who is finishing out her term sort of officially with this work, but helping to transition to new leadership. And staff, if you would like to make an introduction.
Yes, I would like to introduce to you Judy Anderson Smith. She is our new finance manager. You are correct. Today we had a going away party for both Nancy McDonald and Kathy Brucker. Kathy will be remotely helping Judy for couple more weeks as needed. But this was a phenomenal way to end Kathy's career in Gladstone. So thank you, Mayor, for recognizing that.
Well, I think we all appreciate all the meetings we have. There's so many financial issues and other things that she has always provided clear explanations for and good information. You got us through a tough time where we needed someone with your experience and know-how, and you got us through that 6 months that we contracted you to help us, right? Only 6 months turned into years, and we're grateful to you for making the time in your life for us and to contributing so much to the success of this city.
Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure working with all of you.
Well, it's been a pleasure for all of us. And Judy, we're glad you're on board, and we look forward to working with you too. No pressure, but this is specialized work. It's not something that just anybody with an accounting degree can come in and do. And you need to know what you're doing and to explain it to people who maybe have no background in this whatsoever. So for that, we're most appreciative to both of you. Now, I think that's everything. We have a regular city council meeting scheduled for July 8th and an open house for everyone in the community who would like to come for the old library property on July 22nd. And we did not schedule any business from the council or business from the audience tonight. So I believe we are done. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, Councilor Huckabee has made the motion, so she can get back to her vacation.
I'll second.
All right, and Councilor Labonte has seconded, so he can get back to his family. It's been moved and seconded. Let's call the roll.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, we are adjourned at 6:03 p.m. Thank you.